Hello, you. Yes, so I'm reviewing You. Season 5, I'm going to see how it ended, and was it a good ending? Was it a bad ending? Because this is 5 seasons of the show, and I would say it is successful. Netflix has a habit of actually, when stuff does well, taking it out, knocking it out. But this show had 5 seasons, it ended when it wanted to end, and it was good. So yeah, was this a good ending and satisfying for the show though? That's what we're going to talk about today, with a bit other stuff as well. So I have talked about You once before on this channel. I don't normally talk about this show, I guess. I do Marvel, Doctor Who, Rick and Morty, Star Wars, The Walking Dead, you name it. Really supposed to be for a geek like me. But today we're talking about You, and yeah, I think the serial killer vibe is such a cool, interesting thing to do, because we do it in his angle, and we've seen him grow, but in the worst way. And by the end, and when he's still in, I guess spoilers for the very end, because we're talking about the end of the show, and was it successful and was it satisfying? He's in the prison cell, and he's still like, what is wrong with you? It is everyone to blame but himself. He sees himself as no wrong. And people, that I'm ill, by the way, so need to get that cough out of the way quick. It was itchy. But the people around him are kind of telling him, you are not the victim here. You are not. And people are telling him this, and he's just not listening. He's in his own little bubble, in his own little world. But we get something interesting from series 5 that we didn't get from other series. It was he admitted he loved killing people. He had loved that hit, that thrill that it gave him. It gave him a purpose and meaning in his power, and he liked that. He liked how he could take someone out. And interestingly enough, his fear to get caught, which you think, when you think of serial killer, you think maybe they do want to get caught. They want to own it. They want that sort of thing. And he doesn't. He doesn't. He fears that. He doesn't want to get caught. He wants to get to the next one, the next one. But his craving for love and his mistreated childhood has formed him into who he is. And by the end, is it satisfying? As a viewer, are we satisfied in how he gets taken out of this show? Because obviously we've been following him for 5 seasons. He is the one character we have followed throughout individually. This is about him, even though the show's about you and him talking to you, maybe us, the audience, in some ways. Or it's always he's talking about you as in also the person he's interested in, the love interest. So there's that as well. The way this show is handled has always been interesting and cool, and how it's in his head, monologuing, telling us, but we're also hearing him speak and talk as well. We're not always in his head, but when we are in his head, we understand it. It's like a cartoon with the bubbles, and you read the person what they're thinking in a cartoon, whilst also we see the speech marks. And the show does that really well. The female characters in this that do decide to take him out, all coming together, and you think this and that, and the plot twists. This time round, some of it was maybe like, oh, I see what they're doing here, but no, they did real good plot twists for season 5. But the conclusion and bringing everything together, even bringing back from season 1, 2, and 3, and 4 cameos of other individuals that have been harmed, the aftermath of them characters we see in season 5 and where they are at, whilst also giving some satisfying and happy endings towards the end. But our main character, who we've been following, has now been caught. He is in the police. And then my question is, should he have got shot? Should he have escaped? Should he be in prison? What is the best outcome for him? And I do not know. I do not know how satisfying I would be for him to have died. And that would have been the end. I don't know whether I've been happy with that. Or I don't know if I'm happy at him being in the prison. Part of me thinks maybe he should have escaped and then find someone else and go, hello, you, and sees another interest and goes off, and we just don't get to see what happens to him next as he goes off in a crazy another love interest, I guess. I think that might have been a good way to end it, but that's open-ended. Do you really want to give him that book finite ending? And is it, how are you going to please this 5 seasons of a character? And he ends up in prison. I don't know whether I'm satisfied with that, but are you guys, is the interesting question I want to fall to you. Are you happy with how it ends? Because I'm like, I'm still ill. I'm going to cough, sorry. God damn, that got me. I'm not sure on how I am with this. Am I satisfied? I think this is a good final series. I am happy with everything, but still confused of whether I am satisfied by the resolution at the end. That's my question I'm struggling with at the minute. But I say I want to watch this show again at one point. I do want to start from the very beginning and watch it to the very end and do 5 seasons in one go now that we have a book finite ending. And I think that's a success. Netflix tend to take out other shows and they never really get that ending. Sometimes they take it out too early and it never gets to finish the show that it needs to do. Or they force it into another series and then it doesn't do well and, you know, it gets pulled off. But this had an ending and it had a finite, which I think is very important. It shows the success of what the show had. 5 seasons. And every time it was a big event and they big publicised this show. And rightfully so, because it is interesting. I think whenever I talk to someone, they say, oh, I love a Netflix documentary. And it's more prison or murder documentaries that do tend to take the highlight when it's a documentary. And I am guilty of that myself. So actually following this serial killer sort of vibe throughout this series, it plays to its strengths. And I think it does it well. The female characters are solid and they all come together to try and take him. But you also have nods to previous lovers that we followed throughout the series, like Love and Beck and stuff like that, which I'm happy they did play a part, you know. And we also got characters who I know from the Gotham series, the Penguin. He comes back to help Joe a little bit from another series. And it's just like bringing back old things. It makes it feel realistic and it feels like it's satisfying to know these characters and go, oh, I know them. And then it's that woman from series 4, the posh woman, but I know her as Phil Mitchell's daughter in EastEnders. She comes back. It's like it's pleasing and fan pleasing to do. So I like that aspect from this series as well. But yeah, I am happy with this show and I'm happy how it ends. And I'm like, oh man, we're not going to get any more of this. But I'm still unsure on leaving him in the prison as the best. Like, part of me hoped there would be a policewoman coming to deliver him that letter at the end, and him going, oh, hello you, and then we end there, and just gives him like, is he gonna get with the policewoman guard sort of vibe? There could be a thing there, and it's like, I think maybe, but this is for a punishment. Him being isolated on his own, and no one to manipulate, and no one is the best punishment for him. It is the best punishment, but because he's the main character and stuff, I just feel like, oh, we could do this. It's fake. It's fictional. We can give him another person to do this, and it's like, geez, am I rooting for the good guy, the bad guy, who's the main character in this? Am I like? I don't know. I'm just not sure on the ending, and that's where I'm at. But yeah, season 1, season 2, season 3. Season 4 being so experimental and different with the whodunit stuff sort of thing. But season 5, they've all been great. They've all been brilliant. And I am very much a fan of You. And I think it's a very good show. Netflix tend to have Sex Education, You, The Witcher. And yeah, that's really it for me. Like, I don't tend to have anything else, I don't think. And Black Mirror. That's it. That's all I watch from Netflix and this show. So they really are ending everything that I'm interested in lately. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. So I think Black Mirror is the only thing left that they're not ending. So does Netflix have anything more interesting to give, I guess, after this? But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions, guys. What do you think of You? Was it satisfying for you in the end? Or was it not? I'm asking you.